What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the Funky Brain Podcast. And I'm Dennis, and this is my funky brain. Sometimes when you have a funky brain, you need to have a jolly person to talk with, and that's who I have today. I have with me Mr. Alan Klein, and he is a Lifetime Achievement Award winner, a certified speaking professional, a TEDx speaker, a Toastmasters Communication and Leadership Award. He is a man who's written 28 books, many of them bestsellers, selling over 600,000 copies around the world. Mr. Alan Klein, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'll give you a little wave here.
Hi. What is that? Is that your jolly hand?
It's a hand.
A little wave. I get it.
A little wave. You got it.
That's pretty funny. Through your books and your keynote presentations, Alan is the world's only Jollytologist. He shows people worldwide how to find humor and positivity in their not so funny stuff. So tell us a little bit about that. How did that come to be?
A very difficult time in my life. My wife passed away when she was 34. And we found out she had a rare liver disease when she was 31. So for 3 years, we were dealing with that. After she died, needless to say, it was a very difficult time. But she had a great sense of humor. And so I started remembering some of the things that happened that would make me laugh and smile. For example, she had a copy of Playgirl magazine with the male nude centerfold. And she said, "Alan, I really like this hunky man this month. Can you put it on the wall by the bed over there?" And I said, "Ellen, this is a hospital. Little risque for that." She said, "Well, why don't you get the picture and put it on the bed there, and then maybe get a leaf and cover up that part." And I did that, and Dennis, things are fine for the first day, fine for the second day, but by the third day, the leaf starts shriveling up. And doing what you're doing right now, we just start to laugh. And I realized after she passed away that how important that laughter was and how it helped us rise above the situation. It gave us a reprieve. It was at the time when Norman Cousins was talking about how humor helped him get through a rare disease that he had. And so I gave up a business I had, went back to school to learn about therapeutic humor, and wrote my first book, The Healing Power of Humor. So my thing is that I think humor could help us get through anything. Often we don't realize it, we don't see it, we're so stressed out. And yet it's such a great thing because it gives us a perspective. You get to see your situation in a different way. And even if it's for 10 seconds, you rise above that situation for 10 seconds and you can start at least momentarily to get on with your life.
That's a really powerful statement. And so, a lot of my listeners are in the addiction recovery space, alcoholism. I've been sober since 2003, and I've been through a lot of battles, happy, mad, glad, sad, all types of stuff. And, laughter is always such a power, they say laughter is the best medicine. It's such a powerful tool to use. I wish you could just do it on command. Like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm just going to laugh for 5 minutes and feel better. But there are ways to do that. And I love the approach that you're taking. I mean, I'm going through some tough times right now as well, emotionally. And, I'm finding, surrounding myself with people, reaching out when I need some emotional support, and then, turn on the TV and watch something silly or pull up something funny on YouTube and just giggle for a few minutes. It changes everything, even if it's only for like 30 seconds. Like, whatever pain you're going through, if you don't interrupt that pain somehow, it can last for 3 hours. And so, tell me 3 things that people can do to help them stay positive in these challenging times, especially because we're going through these tough times. 2020 is not everybody's favorite year, or maybe not anybody's, but tell us a few things that we can use to shift our mood, to shift our focus, to feel better about ourselves on a daily basis.
Well, I think the first thing is to realize, just stop, maybe take a breath, realize the virus doesn't care about you. Traffic jams doesn't care about you. The stuff in the world, it's not thinking about you. So you're the only one that can change whatever's happening. So yes, the virus is not great. Yes, we can't control it right now. Yes, people are dying. Yes, people are getting seriously ill. Yes, we're not. People are out of work. All these things are happening, but you're the only one that can see it differently. So my idea, and what I've tried to do, lots of my negative stuff in my life, is yes, all that not so great stuff is there. How could I find some positive in that? So if I take COVID right now, I realize my daughter and I now speak every single day on the phone. We used to speak once a week. And I'm amazed how much we have to talk about every single day. It's just blows my mind. I went to the doctor the other day via Zoom, and he was telling me how it's kind of changed his practice, because he works with a lot of older people, and they have to come in a wheelchair, and they have to get a helper, and they've got to get dressed, and maybe they're not feeling well that day. With Zoom, they don't have to even get out of bed. I mean, he can see them anytime, because often they would cancel appointments because they weren't feeling well. He could see them immediately. So there's a great thing, and I think that's going to continue. Doctors are going to probably want to see patients more via Zoom. It saves them time. It saves the patient all kinds of time. So there was positive. I'm now working more in my garden than I have ever done before, and growing my own stuff. I have a list here of stuff because there was so much happening that I wouldn't even think. Oh, I love Broadway shows. So I see a lot of now theater and actors who are doing programs from their living rooms or their basements. And I get to see all these people's homes. And one of my favorite ones, I'm not going to mention names, she has the most ugly. And I've seen her twice now in two different parts of her house. And I wonder, you're so wealthy, you're so well known. Did you not get a decorator? I mean, it looks shabby. I mean, those are just three things that popped into my head about thinking about positive things about COVID.
And everything is perspective. It's interesting that you said it. The world doesn't owe you anything. They're not responsible for your happiness. We're all responsible for our own happiness. And the world doesn't owe us any money. We're not all supposed to have more money. If it's like, if you want more money, you have to go out and get more money. If you want to be happy, do things that make you happy. If you keep watching the news or politics and these things are making you unhappy, then stop doing that. You have a choice to do those things, and it's up to you to take action and make yourself happier. Now, a lot of people don't have the tools to flip and just become happy all the time. So leading in to my next question here is like, so one of your recent book is Positive Thoughts for Troubling Times. So how can people use that book to help flip the script, to help put them in a more positive mood, to make them more jolly?
Yeah, well, it's not only this book, and sure, there's the book and my little notes, but just have a positive thought or a positive affirmation or a positive intent. I've done a TEDx talk, and it's about the power of intention, because just staying focused, staying positive, as you say, you're around other people now. Tell other people what your goal is, what your intention is, helps you to focus on that. So one way I like to use the book, so there's some of my favorite quotes, and you see I have little Post-it notes to keep them. Like here's one by Mother Teresa, who said, "We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop." So if I keep that as my quote for the day, it's like, yeah, I'm really important. And although, I may feel, someone may even put me down, and I may feel a little less. And I go, wait a minute, what about this quote? I'm part of humanity. I could help humanity. My little thing matters. So just a quote can help us, I think, get through a difficult time or a difficult day.
Yeah, and part of my practice, the way I coach people through stuff like this is, from addiction to, even past addiction. And I coach people as well that don't have addictive personalities per se, but, it's about, rewiring our subconscious minds. our subconscious minds drive almost all of our activity, but our subconscious minds have a tendency to not be very healthy. And so when I wake up in the morning, I have a very good life. I have a very nice life. I live well. I live in a nice place. I have a car. I have the stuff, and my life is well. But the first thing I do when I open my eyes is think about like the 3 things in my life that aren't perfect, and I focus right on those. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I need to do is redirect my thinking. So I do that, like what you said. The reason I'm talking about this is because you said affirmations. First of all, I need to calm my brain down, because my brain is the source of all my problems. So I need to get still, get centered, and then I need to actually write. So a big part of my practice and the way I teach people is to write. In the writing, I'm slowing my brain down, and then I get to see what's going on in my brain and what's actually real out there and what's made up, which is almost everything's made up. And in that, I'm writing positive things down so I can focus on these throughout the day. So I love the way you brought up those affirmations. It's such a powerful.
A lot of, as I said, my TEDx talks about intention. All of us have people in our lives that say we can't do stuff. And my thing throughout my life has been, you can't tell me I can't do something.
Right.
And so it actually makes me stronger to go and prove them wrong. Just quickly, I was kicked out. I used to be a scenic designer in television. And since the 7th grade, going to a Broadway show, I wanted to be a scenic designer. And I got into Yale Drama School. It's a 3-year master's degree program. And I was kicked out after the first year, basically told I had no talent. And I thought, you can't tell me, I had no talent. I went back to New York City. Long story short, I got in the union. I became a scenic designer. I did shows, and you're too young for this, but Captain Kangaroo.
Oh, I remember Captain Kangaroo. Yeah.
Merv Griffin, Jackie Gleason show, national TV shows, and my fellow classmates were still at Yale doing college production.
Yeah, nice.
And I thought, you can't tell me I can't do something. I wanted to march in the Macy Day Parade. I had no idea how to do that. But my intention was to do it. I asked everyone I knew. I kept a positive attitude that this is going to happen. And finally, somebody helped me get into the parade. And it was one of the high. In fact, I have a photo. This is in the dressing room of me putting on my costume at 6 a.m. And it was just one of the highlights of my life. And it was just like something, my intention was to create it. So I think when you wake up in the morning, what is your intention for the day?
Yeah, that's great. I love intention. It's a powerful tool to use. And, I think that it takes a little wiring to get in that frame of mind where you are coming from a place of intention in most of your actions. And sometimes you just need to live and go eat ice cream and not think about anything. But I think if you're intentional about most of your actions, life is going to unfold closer to the way that you want it to, than if you're just kind of winging it.
And like my first book, The Healing Power of Humor, people said, you'll never get it published. There's, 30,000 books a year published, and most of them don't make their money back, and you'll never get it, and I got a publisher, and it's in a 40th printing in 12 foreign language. So
that was awesome. Like when I wrote my book, I didn't plan on writing my book. I just started writing some stuff down, and it turned into my book. And, along the way, I didn't think much of it. And then I started thinking, wow, if I just sell like, a couple 100,000 copies, then I'll be all set. I don't have to worry about anything. And I started getting excited about that. And then I was in this meeting one day and somebody said to me, basically your book is kind of like a business card. That's about it. And, it depends on the marketing you do. And if you get a little lucky, and it depends on the space you're in and all that stuff. But basically, you can't plan on your book making millions of dollars.
Right.
It's more of like it opens doors and it gives you opportunities and it establishes you as somebody who knows maybe what you're talking about. And all about talking about being jolly and happy.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Dennis, is when I write my book, as you know, having written a book, it could be difficult. The first book was 110,000 words, so it was a bit of a struggle and staying with it. And but when you get back letters or emails these days from people of how that book has changed their life. So when I'm writing, if I could help one person with their life, I just keep writing.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. That's really important. And that goes back to intention. What is your intention with this book? Is your intention to make millions of dollars and be selfish? Well, it might not go that way. If your intent is to help people, then everything else just kind of follows behind that. If you
Yeah.
have an altruistic mindset where I need to help, that was my goal. I was like, because I went through so much hell with my addiction and alcoholism that my thought process is really like, if I could just keep one person from wanting to commit suicide or being in such a deep depression or spend all of their life savings or stay out of jail or get DUIs, if I can keep one person from just living that way and becoming happier, that is all that I need. Everything else is extra.
Yeah, and you just touched on one of the points of how to be happier yourself is to reach out to other people.
Absolutely.
And research has found that people who volunteer are happier and healthier.
Yeah,
I did
absolutely.
something one year, it was about 2 years ago. I decided on January 1st that I would send an email, or if someone didn't have an email, a card or a letter, telling each person how much they had influenced and enriched my life. And by October, I thought, oh, I'm going to run out of people.
I know, right?
Well, it came in December, and I went, wait a minute, I have way too many people, it's going to go on and on. I did stop at the end of the year and had to leave some people out. But what surprised me is how people reacted to this. Some people, and in fact, a number of people said, how did you know I was really down that day and I really needed to hear this? I didn't know, but I just, did it. And then the other thing that surprised me is how people, and I didn't do it for this reason, but they sent back an email or a letter saying how much I changed and influenced and made a difference in their life. So it was a two-way street. It's like I'm just writing to them and reminding me of how other people helped me in what they did for me. And then people wrote back of what I did for them and how it helped them. It was like two people were being lifted up with this one thought.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. Nothing like the feeling of getting of that gratitude. That somebody reaches out to you, and you never know. Like I say to people, if you go to the grocery store, just smile at every person you come in contact with. I get even unhappy people are gonna smile back at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you never know when you're gonna change somebody's life. Like you just said, like there's stories about where somebody reached out randomly to this one person, and that person was planning on killing themselves that day, and it changed their whole life, like in a second.
Yeah, I got some incredible letters. We'd need another hour to go through some of them, but just one that really struck me. It was a 2-page letter. A woman in her 70s said, when I was a teenager, I was molested twice. And she said, for 50 years, I never told anyone about it. And she said it was just ruining my life. And she said, I came across one quote in your book. She said, I keep it around my house now. It's given me back my power. And she said, it has changed my life. And I finally have gotten on with it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Amazing.
that's amazing stuff. I mean, you just never know.
Never
And
know.
that's what makes the effort all worth it.
Yeah, and the unusual thing was it wasn't even my quote. I was quoting somebody else.
Right.
But she found it in my book, which
Yeah.
was, she might not have found it elsewhere. So we just never know.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. I love talking with you. We could probably talk for a while. In fact, why don't we do that? We'll set up another time next month and we'll do another episode and
Right?
just keep the
We could do
jolliness
that,
going.
or we could wait till my next book is out, which
Yeah, sure. When's that?
December 1st.
Oh, awesome. We can wait till then.
Uh,
Yeah, whatever works for you, man. I really enjoyed our time together. And did you have any last closing remarks or advice for people that are struggling right now or just
Yeah,
not as happy as they could be?
yeah, keep it light and have some reminders around because the world is serious right now. Your world may be serious right now. Have some quick reminder like this to put on. You look in the mirror and it's hard to stay serious looking like this. So just some reminder to lighten up.
Yeah, and so Alan, if people want to get in touch with you or buy your books or anything like that, how would they do that?
Amazon for the books, my website for more about me, all my books, and the website's www.allenklein.com. You got to spell it right, ALLENKLEIN.com.
Awesome. Thanks again, Alan. I appreciate the time, Mr. Jolly. I love it. It was one of my most wonderful favorite interviews. I wish I could give you a hug. Why don't we have virtual hugs?
A virtual hug here.
Awesome. Thanks for watching the Funky Brain Podcast. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. So you can't think your way into a new way of acting. You have to act your way into a new way of thinking and being. Hi, I'm Dennis Berry, best-selling author, speaker, and life coach for addiction recovery. So many people are stuck in their addiction, whether it's like drugs or alcohol or food or shopping or sex or money, and they think they could just stop or try to figure it out on their own, but they don't change anything in their lives. Nothing changes if nothing changes. In order for change to happen, you have to change something. My clients will be like, oh, I'll stop tomorrow, or if this happens, then I stop, or someday I'll just give it up. And then they just sit around and think, and hope for different or better results, but it doesn't happen. You have to take action. Action most people aren't willing to take. People don't become willing until they're in enough pain, me included. And unfortunately, they wait, and and time passes by. Even if you are willing, you don't even know where to begin. And that's where I come in. In my best-selling book, Funky Wisdom, A Practical Guide to Life, I talk about the how approach. How do I get sober? How do I stop doing drugs? How do I become healthier? How do I have more successful relationships? How do I become more financially successful? And the answer is how. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I have to honestly admit that there's a problem. I have to honestly admit that things aren't going well and there needs to be changes. And then once I do that, the door opens and I become open to seeing new ways of living. And then I become willing to make those changes. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. That's why I'm here to help. And, I've been working with clients for over 15 years and helping them get clean and sober and change their lives and achieve inner peace and success. If you or somebody you love is struggling and doesn't know where to begin and how to make those changes to get to where they need to be, give me a call. Not tomorrow or in a week from now when you're hungover and your life is falling apart. Call now. Start making that change today and you'll be glad that you did. I'm sending you love and good vibes. Have a great day today.